For the art of spray paint, you're going to require different colors of spray paints, different sizes of straight edges, everyday household items like cups or lids, but more importantly, your mask. My name is Tecolote Spraycasso, and I created Spraycasso Studios back in 1999. I've then begun teaching people how to create amazing masterpieces using nothing more than just spray paints and everyday household items. The beauty of this art is that it doesn't require you to have a steady hand or know how to draw, just a little bit of imagination and some dedication. So join me, and you too can become a Spraycasso master. Together we'll walk through diverse techniques of creating beginner level paintings, intermediate level paintings, advanced level paintings, and we'll take your skill even further to master level paintings. So if you're ready to embark into a new art adventure, grab your spray paints and materials, let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Spraycasso tutorial. So in today's tutorial, I wanted to show you guys, I know on the last one we talked about how to create an outline using the paints once you've added your first layer. Well, I want to show you that you can do this without having to add the first layer. So if you're really good at sketching or if you're really good at tracing, you can always go and do an outline with a marker, just as I did here, and then start working with your background layers and start bringing it home. So as you saw with the Sharpie, I went ahead and I did the outline of an owl, did a nice little trunk here on the side where the owl is going to be standing, and now I'm doing a transitional between blue. So we're going to do a light blue, then we're going to do a dark blue surrounding it, and then we're going to go over it with the black. So the transition will be from black to dark blue to light blue, and this will give us a nice transition between these colors. Alright, so here I'm just adding the black, and this is more or less like the dream technique. So we're just gonna fade the black into the dark blue. Good. Alright, so the reason I'm doing this tutorial is to show you guys the basics so that before we go into more advanced techniques on creating more realistic animals, we can learn the basic layering technique in more advanced spray paintings. Here, this is a star technique. As you guys know, I face the can 45-degree angle away from the painting and gently let the paint sputter onto the painting. Now here I'm going to use some red and black, and as you can tell, I've already used the broad end of the Spraycasso tool, and I'm just mirroring these colors together. Now I know you can't do this with a whole lot of paints out there. I'm using my own, the Spraycasso brand spray paints to create this effect. Now, as you guys have probably noticed, I didn't go for a straight brown and then color the whole owl brown. I'm using red and black. And I think this is a very vital part to learn how to mix your paint so that you get a variance of color, not just a completely brown, but you get this nice transitional phase between the red, the black, the brown, the dark red, and it gives you a nice base color to start with. Now here, I'm using just regular red, and I'm just creating the outline where I want some of these feathers to stand out. This is going to be more natural colors. We also call it mid-tones. And this is just going to be around some of these edges. As you can tell, see, I'm just highlighting certain areas. This will give us a more realistic and yet more colorful owl in this case. If you remember in last week's episode, we did Rosie the Owl. It was a very colorful owl, and I had a very bright color of background to it. So I didn't concentrate a whole lot into highlights. In this one, since we're doing a night scenery, I do want to concentrate a little bit more on highlights and how to create the effect of light. And I think this is a step that's going to help us to really get a feel and nail down the techniques needed to create more realistic looking animals. Perhaps it doesn't necessarily have to be an animal, but this is a techniques that I use when creating people's faces, buildings, and so I think this is a good time to kind of take our skill a little bit higher and concentrate on these techniques. I'm using the spray paint tools. This is what I call the spray paint brushes, and you can find similar brushes at arts and crafts stores. Basically, it's a brush that doesn't have any bristles. It has a soft tip end at the end. Very much like the Spraycasso tool, the same material is used to creating these brushes. And so here I am just tapping into some black to create the eyes. Now, if you want to create more realistic eyes, I do have a series of tutorials out there on how to create more realistic eyes. Now, that's not what I wanted to do with this tutorial, so I think these eyes will definitely work for the effect I'm looking for. Now notice I added a nice little outline to the eye, and then now I'm just taking these brushes, the spray paint brushes, and blending it in. This will give us also the effect of shadowing. Right? Now here I'm just using yellow and I'm coloring in the outer part of the eye. And I'm just going to tap on here, get a little bit more. I'm going to start working on the beak. Very easy to do. It's just trying to stay in the lines. I'm just kidding. You know what? Don't concentrate so much and stay within the lines. You can always blend in other colors. Here I'm just blending a little bit of orange into our yellow. I don't want the beak to be the same color as the eyes, so I'm blending in a little bit of orange, a little bit of red. Just kind of blending that in. Now I know that at the moment it's blending in with the rest of the feathers. So we're going to tap into some black. Very quick. Oh, let me just spray a little bit more. Now, throughout the years, I've been teaching you guys how to create diverse techniques using just everyday household items. Now we're getting to the part where we're starting to use especially, brushes specially made for spray painting. We're starting to get to more individualized and specialized tools for the art. It has been an adventure. It's grown so much. Here I'm just tapping into a little bit of white and I'm just adding some of the spots that we created on Rosie the Owl. I also added a little bit of white on the top of the eyes just to give it the effect of a reflection. You want to make sure that the eyes look moist. Oh, I know. A lot of people love that word. So just adding a little bit of white spots throughout our owl. Up here on top as well. Now I am using a combination of white and yellow at the moment. And this will give us a very, not quite a bright white look, but it's going to have a little tone of yellow. I'm just going to use that here on the edges. Very easy to do. Now, I'm going to use the Spraycasso funnel to fill in where this bark is going to go. Now remember, we drew it in, so we know exactly where everything is going to go. I think this set of techniques, guys, is going to take you guys to a whole different level. If you can draw, if you can trace, you can put your design on the canvas first and then start coloring it with your spray paints. So I foresee a lot of people taking this set of new skills and creating some amazing masterpieces out there. If you guys want to share it with us, check out our Spray Paint Masters Revolution page on Facebook. Now this is a little hard to do, and I know a lot of people, I get a lot of emails about this. The way I create my moons, well, you saw how I did it. I take the spray can, get very close to it, and it's a quick burst. You don't want to stay there too long. You want to make it like a second burst, just a quick spray, and you get that nice round moon on the background. Here I'm just going to add a little bit of white here on the side using our spray paint brush. Now you can use brushes. I really don't like to use regular bristle brushes because they get hard after a few uses. So the spray paint brushes have this nice little rubber tip. You can definitely go find it in our website or see if you can find similar tools out there in arts and crafts stores. Now I'm going to add a thin layer of white surrounding our owl. This is going to give you the effect of the moonlight hitting it. So you want to make sure you give the effect of the moonlight embracing our owl. So I'm just going to add a nice little thin layer of white surrounding the outline. Just making quick little strokes. Just like this. Now notice I do create a nice little thin outline, but then I also blend into our owl. See how I'm going into our owl? So you start off from the outside layer and start working your way inside. This will just give you the effect that there's feathers that are closer to us, not quite on the outside edge. Getting a little bit of that moonlight. So I'm going to concentrate on this. There's absolutely nothing you can't paint or create with spray paints. That's what I love about this medium, how fast it is. not only to learn, to create with, and to dry. I used to do a lot of oils before I got into spray painting, with a lot of acrylics as well. And nothing quite beats the way spray paint blends with itself. Plus that really nice gloss coat that it gives off when you're done with your spray painting. It's just incredible. I really recommend it if you guys haven't tried it yet. Alright. So here we added that thin layer and kind of blended into the owl to give it the effect that there's moonlight surrounding, hugging our owl in the back. I'm going to use a little bit of brown onto our funnel. You can create this if you don't have brown. I know a lot of brands don't carry it, and if they do, they don't mix very well. I recommend you mix orange with black. So I just went ahead and I added a thin layer of brown onto our branch here. And using the soft tip Spraycasso tool, we're just gonna start dabbing into some of that brown and blending it in to the blacker parts of our branch. So notice what I'm doing here. First of all, I'm going to the very edge, blending some of that brown into our branch. And now I'm going to start tapping. And this is like quick little strokes, quick little taps. And I'm going to start working from where the light is to the darker parts of our branch. Tap, 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 tap. And this will give your branch a little more realistic looking bark effect as well. All right, tap, tap, tap. By the time you get to this point, your black on your branch should be pretty much dried. If not, it's still okay. You want some of that brown to mix with the black underneath. So tap, 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 tap. Look at that. So I hope you guys can learn and see how these techniques will take you to the next level when we get more realistic. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed that the owl, one of the owl's eyes is actually looking the other way. You know, halfway through it, I decided I didn't like it there. I wanted to make it look like he was looking elsewhere. And so this is our end creation. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. It was a lot of fun making it. Until next time, crew, keep those cans shaking.